All right, this next project is called Mandala Circles. Before we get into the project, we need to talk about what a mandala is. And a mandala is a very complex circular design, really popular in coloring books, and that's what I have, well, one that I made, and then a coloring book right here. As you can see, they're both circular designs, very complex, and they're based off kind of a math principle of radial balance. So we have something that starts in the center of our circle, and more circles are added and designs are added inside those circles, and it continues and it circulates and radiates throughout. So here's an example that's uncolored, and we have another example that's been colored. These are really great to create on your own by adding circles inside, concentric circles inside one another. But the project that we're making is going to be a collaborative project. So we're only making a quarter of the mandala. So this is going to be kind of a group project that we'll make individually, and then when we put all of our quarter circles together, we'll have several whole circles to create an installation art piece somewhere in our school. So let's kind of get that started to see what that will look like. So everyone will get this quarter part of a circle on a white sheet of paper, and the first thing you'll want to do is just cut it out right on the black line. Next, since this is going to be an installation project and a group project, we all want these on the same background, so we're going to glue it to this black background paper, and make sure when you glue it on there, you're getting it nice and snug in the corner of your black paper. All right, now we have to put some circles on here, or quarter radius? No.
Yeah, we're going to put the radius in there. So if you can look in here, we are going to put our compass. You get to choose your radius this time, but we're going to put our compass so that the center of it matches with the corner of the paper, of the white paper there. And then put your radius where you want it. Make sure you tighten it in so it doesn't move while you go. It's really important it stays where it is. And then you're going to draw in the radius there. And you can use both circles at the same time. Good thinking. We're going to move it out here and maybe do one out there. Once again, I'm just picking arbitrary radii here. Radii is plural, by the way, for radius. And the compass only goes so far, but you'll notice at the end of your compass there's a little kind of niche in there. You can use that to make your biggest one there. And so now we have a bunch of circles, a bunch of concentric. Concentric means they all have the same center. Not that you have to use that word ever, but this is what we were talking about with radial balance, that we have a smaller circle and then a bigger and bigger and bigger, but they all have a center at the same spot. So
inside each of those
rings
of circles, you're going to make some different patterns, and there's going to be lots of different tools and pieces and parts for you to create patterns inside those rings. And that's the important part. You can't just put things kind of all over. It should stay within these little barriers that you made, and it's okay that not everyone is going to have the same barriers. When we get them up on the wall, they'll look really cohesive together. So we picked out some pieces to use.
Before you start putting pieces on, you may want to use your crayons, and you may want to get some background color in there. You can actually use your crayons to make yourself some kind of a design also. So maybe you want to, put some triangles and and get your pattern going around this one with crayons instead of with other objects that you can glue on. Try and make them so that they have a pattern and look the same throughout. And then you can color those in. So one thing to do is to color, but we can also add on other things using some of the pieces that you'll find in your room, and we can start gluing on some of the shapes that we have depending on what you have. So here we have some chevrons that we're going to put on there.
When you start creating a pattern, whether you're drawing it or using the shapes, make sure you're making things the same distance apart. So when I start getting a third chevron, blue chevron on here, I want to keep my spacing equal to the spacing that I already created. So I don't want to get them too close or too far apart when I continue this design.
So the design is in shape, it's in color, it's also in the spacing that you have. You don't want them too close. You don't want this one to be right up next to that one if they were this far apart here. So you want to make sure that you keep spacing them out the way that you're supposed to.
All right, so you have enough time to work. We're not going to do too much more on this project, but you could see how you could use more shapes and overlap them, more colors and go around and fill in. This project is going to hang in the school, so we want this one to have a lot of color and a lot of pattern in the design.
And the last thing is, this time when you sign your project, we actually want you, maybe you want to do it before you start, but you're going to want to sign it on the back here so that we can see which one was yours when we give them back to you, but you want it on the back. So make sure you do that on the back of the black before you get too far. Otherwise, some of the stuff we don't want to end up ruining it by flipping it over. So, all right, have fun.